what's going on.
Yes.
Because I have no fucking idea.
I'll tell you, and I'll do it in a way that's very, very careful, because I say something and then, Jewish people get angry at me, and then I say something else, and then, Palestinian people get angry at me or something like that. You have two groups of people, and they've, they're going through a variety of different types of suffering and a serious conflict. Now, the first thing I want to say is I really feel the suffering. There's 2.3 million people living in a little strip of land. And I don't know what kind of life you're going to have there. Okay? So, and, if you're pushed there or you're put in there in a certain way, you have a right to be angry. But on the other hand, you're not here to shoot up a concert and make yourself into an animal and kidnap people and rape women and do this and do that. So it's a sensitive thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to discount the plight of people. Whatever it is, whatever, God promised to Abraham and covenant that was made, or whatever the story is of the promised land and so on and so forth. If you're living somewhere and you have a house and someone knocks on your door and pushes you out or tells you this is the new regime, you have a right to be angry.
Yeah.
And you have a right to put up a fight. But if you lose the war, you got to also figure out what you're doing on that end. And, firing or doing some paragliding in and shooting up a concert is not going to solve your problem. That's going to make things way, way worse. So that's really the reality on that end. This conflict is so embroiled, and people make so many points because both sides have very strong arguments.
Did you get a bunch of DMs from people asking you
to post?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people saying...
Everybody thinks I'm Jewish. I'm not Jewish, by the way.
Okay.
All my friends are Jews. But
I actually thought you were Jewish, too.
You thought I was Jewish.
Yeah.
Jewish. So I got so many fucking DMs. People were like, yo, when are you going to post about it? And I was like, I didn't even know. Like, I do not watch the news.
I had a rant about this, but
I'm in my own world all the time. And I was like, post about what? And I was like, talking to people, like, I don't know anything about that. Like, you don't want to know my opinion because it's just some shit that I read 15 minutes ago.
True.
So,
It could be the wrong one that I don't even believe in.
Understand,
bro.
Yeah.
Like, really.
This conflict is settled by war. Okay? You fight the war, you win or you lose. And that's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? This is my house, and this is my this, and this is my that. But if someone comes in and, after the Holocaust or what have you, the Jewish people, and just for anybody who knows, my mother's Jewish, my father's Muslim, I understand that, that society. They wanted to create a state where are they going to create it? In Kansas? In Canada? In Alaska?
Don't go to
in
Canada.
Greenland?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to go back to this ancestral place, and they started pushing people and whatever it was. And they came into conflict, and nobody liked it. And they want war, and they won the wars, and they seized, and they gave back, and they this, and they that. And they conquered a piece of territory, and they held it, and they made it a prosperous place. Considering the circumstances, considering the resources, they did a fantastic job. But the people that are there, I saw a post, people planted trees, and now they're, olive trees, and now they're taken away, or I've been there for generations, and this and that, fuck this and fuck that. And they got pushed out, and they have a right to be angry. But someone DM'd me, and they said to me, what would you do? I'd say, get the fuck out of there. I'd get the fuck out of there the first chance I got. I'm not going to beat the Israeli army. And if I could, I would. If I was in the Gaza Strip, I'd fight, and I'd this, and I'd win, that'd be great. But if not, I'd get the fuck out of there. Wouldn't paraglide into a concert and kill a bunch of people. I'd say, you know what? I lost. Time for me to go and get the fuck out of there and find a life somewhere else, wherever I can. Or however I can. And that's the reality of it, man. And I feel sorry.
You guys saw his rant on his stories the other day, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I bring it up.
Well,
but
he posted that, and then it was like 5 minutes before I made my post, like, don't ask none of us because we don't know shit. And he calls me. He's like, yo, what did you think about my post?
And after you said don't say nothing.
I was like, are you trolling me, bro? I was like, he's like, no, why? I was like, go read my post.
A lot of people, understood that. And for people who don't understand the conflict, the people that are living in this strip of land are suffering greatly. And I don't know what resources they have. And it's clear that nobody wants them there, and they want them pushed out. And that has a right. But again, if you want to fight, you have to fight like an army. Yeah. You can't sit here and do nasty things. You're not going to get support. This news now, they got all the propaganda, beheading children, raping women, going to house, killing, slaughtering everybody. What is that? That's savagery. And now you have a right. Now they're going to level this. And now they're carrying around dead children. They got bombed. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I could say is, thank God I have nothing to do with that, and that I'm here.
On the keywords on this, by the way.
But no, but listen,
Every keyword.
But listen, like the
Bomb,
like,
beheading
well,
children.
two things. Like you said, propaganda. Now it's like I might get fucking killed for this, but
Oh my fuck.
I feel like
Just let him say it.
No,
Relax.
but I feel like only one side is being shown, right? Everything right now is pro-Israel.
Right.
Now again, I'll make the statement that I don't know fuck all.
Right.
But one thing I do know is that it's not fair to only see one side.
Right.
Now, is the shit that Hamas is doing fucked up?
Right.
For sure.
Right.
But I wonder how much of it may be propaganda,
And there's-
especially because if 2020 and the pandemic taught me anything,
Right.
it's that they can literally like make things up out of thin air and throw them out. So not to say that it is happening, it's not happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes me skeptical.
Right.
I'm with you. It's like, what do I actually?
What do
fucking
I?
know?
What's
What am I
real?
I live
supposed
in
to-
New York City.
What's
I've
real
never-
But it's
and what's
clear
not?
that,
Like,
you know,
what do I
that they're
really know?
doing things that are not, you know, in a real military. They just want to kill those people that are on the other side of that border. But yeah, there's people supporting the Palestinian side all over the world.
But not many though, bro.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying?
Not
You're seeing
many.
these posts and you're seeing this in this
Bro,
terrible
go
tragedy.
look at the comments. People are eating each other alive. They're
Yeah.
Palestinians,
And
Israelis,
I'll
going
support
crazy.
and
I
I'll
was
show
like, I didn't know
support
this
and
was
I'll
Jesus.
admit, you know, the plight of these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm putting myself in the shoes of a family. You know, I got to grow up in Azerbaijan. I came as a war refugee into the United States, and I'll put myself. What was I born in Gaza? And you know, I have this militant group over me, and because their activity, a bomb is dropped, and now my sister's dead, and now my parents are dead, and this, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have extraordinary. I could take that extraordinary hatred, paraglide in, and shoot a bunch of people up, or I could just sit here and realize what the nature of the conflict is and get the hell out of there. So that's the reality, and I respect that. I understand that. However, the truth is, or the way I see it is, that you know, they're trying to hit military targets, or they're trying to do this, that, but they're, you know, run across the border, then they run into their living rooms or whatever it might be. And a lot of people want to argue that point, and you could argue it in the comments, or you could say what you want to say. And but that's from what I see.
Yeah.
If you want to go out in the open and conduct a real military campaign, conquer land and hold it.
Yeah.
Don't run in there, do a bunch of nasty shit, and run into someone's living room and hide in there. And before, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if the tables were turned. Imagine if Hamas had the air force and the military support that Israel has.
Yeah.
What would they do? They would level the shit out of it.
Yeah.
They would be brutal with it. So, or perhaps, you know, where they would show mercy, or I don't really know. I don't really know what to tell you on that end. But
one thing I got to say is that I respect you for just speaking your opinion. I feel like even we spoke about this last time. I respect you just like saying what you got to say, because not many guys in your position would do that, first and foremost. So I have respect for you for that. But another thing, I had a rant about this, and I was super annoyed, bro. It was like, I seen a lot of people being like, you know, if you didn't post about it and you didn't show love like to Israel, blah blah, like
Silence is violence.
silence is violence. We're gonna remember, like we're gonna remember
Fuck
you
up.
didn't say anything. And I'm like, bro, I'm like,
you didn't show support for Israel.
yeah, like
This
a lot
kid
of
had a
people
break-
post
That happens on both sides, bro.
No, I'm just saying from I guess maybe just the people I follow and whatever.
Because
is
they're
like-
fanatics about it. You know what I'm saying?
But what's crazy is like why like and this doesn't just go for this. I think this
There's
goes
too
for
much
like
blood spilled,
everything.
bro. That's
why are people forced to pick a side if they have A, no dog in the fight, and B, aren't educated on it? Like what
What do you
why
mean
should I
bullying
have to
somebody
be
in your position too? It's like you didn't make a loyal supporter. You just made somebody that was afraid. And they're like, oh, okay.
Okay, I'll
leave
do
me
it.
alone.
Just leave me alone,
because
yeah.
They don't fucking
People
believe that
can't
shit.
understand why there is another side. You know what I'm saying? You know, like who the fuck are these people pushing us out of this ancestral land? Or who the fuck are these people in our, why don't you understand me? How could you even say that? Look what they did. Look what they did to these children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How could you say? So that's what people are. And if you're a person like that, and you know you're blinded by hatred from one side or another, and I understand that. I don't want to participate in that. I try to be I'm in New York City, you know what I'm saying? I have a big Muslim family or so on and so forth. I don't have anybody in the Middle East or in that particular region. I have people in my family living in Israel. And, you know, they were in the defense force there, so on and so forth. And I don't want them to be, you know, shot, or I don't want to participate in that. But I try to see both sides, and I try to do the best I can to show support to humanity.
To your